Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a new episode in my discussion series, Consoles, Games, Collecting. Today's topic of the day is all about 9th gen gaming, and specifically the Xbox Series X console that I have here. I received this as a gift for Christmas from my brother. I'm even wearing my Xbox Series X t-shirt that I received from my wife as a Christmas gift, which is awesome. I love this shirt. So I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts and my opinions and the stuff that I love, and there's some stuff I don't love about my new Xbox Series X console, as I've been having a blast with it. Now, you guys know I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the Xbox Series X console and 9th gen. So I would love to hear from you guys. Feel free to leave a comment, but if you feel like the comment is just not enough and you would like to film a video response to this video, feel free to do that. I just ask if you do film a video response, let me know about it so I can check it out, because I'm not always alerted by YouTube, unfortunately, when someone uploads a video, and I'd hate to miss it. Also, I will copy the link to your video response and post it as a comment so other people can check it out as well. But I do really enjoy the Xbox Series X console. I've had it for about a month now, and I've been having an absolute blast with it. Just an absolute powerhouse console. I also love that I have the box for it, and my brother kept it in pretty good shape. I mean, it got a little mangled, but, it's nothing to cry over or anything. But it is such an awesome console. And I'm going to have you guys take a look at the console, and I'll share my thoughts of stuff that I love about and stuff I don't like about it. So let's check it out. Alright friends, I wanted to talk about the stuff that I love about my new Xbox Series X console, my new 9th gen powerhouse machine, because this console is incredibly powerful, and I absolutely love having it in my collection. I'm so thankful to my brother Mike. Thank you so much, man. I love you. This is such an amazing gift to receive for Christmas. I actually can't believe how much I love this 9th gen Xbox console. I didn't think I would love it as much as I actually do. It brings me back to the past of when new consoles launched. I loved when the Super Nintendo came out, or the Nintendo 64, when the Xbox 360 came out. I was just so excited for a new console. You're getting excited for the new games that are out there, and I haven't felt this way since the Xbox One launched back in 2013. It's just crazy how long ago the Xbox One, the 8th gen was. I have not felt that much about a game console since those days, and this console has made me feel like being a kid again and being back in gaming past with how amazing the console is and stuff that I love about it. So I just want to talk about some of the things that I really love about the console. Biggest thing too for me with this is its ability to play 4 generations of Xbox library. Now obviously it's not 100% backwards compatible, but backwards compatibility is such a huge selling point for me, because you have access to original Xbox, Xbox 360, and it's 100% compatible with all your Xbox One library, which I have a huge library for all 3 consoles. Now obviously Xbox 360 and original Xbox, not every game is backwards compatible, but a lot of them are. There's a good number of them. There is some lists, which I do have printed out, which ones I can play, and this upscales and does performance for those games. You get updated graphics and performance. So some of the games kind of struggled on the original Xbox just because of the limitations of the hardware. All those issues and stuff are ironed out when you're playing on this Xbox Series X console, as some of these have performance boosting things. They actually tweaked some of the settings when they made the upgrade for these games to work much better on the Xbox Series X. Some of the games go from 30 frames a second to 60 frames. Some go up to 120 frames for your Xbox One and Series games. It's really awesome. And to fully utilize your Xbox Series X, so you got to make sure you have a nice 4K TV, which I do. This is another gift that was from my brother last year, around this time in February. So in order to fully utilize, you need to make sure that you have a 4K TV so you can take advantage of the 4K settings. Now, if you want to be able to take care of 120 frames a second like my brother does, you're going to have to get an even better and newer TV. But for me, 60 frames is fine. You know, I don't have to have the best of the best, but you got to have a decent TV, which I do have a nice Samsung 4K TV here. I do love another feature too that I really loved, and I didn't know this, and I thought maybe, I'd have to reformat, is my hard drive, external hard drive that I have plugged into my Xbox Series X. I can do plug and I can literally unplug it from the Xbox Series X, plug it right here, and I have access to all the games. I don't have to reinstall them or anything. They just run right off the thing. And you can actually do a setting on there too, which Microsoft does have, which I thought was awesome, is you can tell it, is it's going to ask you, is this hard drive going to be used between multiple Xboxes? If you say yes, I can then unplug it, plug in my Xbox One X and use it, or another Series X. I can literally take this hard drive with me to my friend's house, plug it into his Xbox Series X, and then I can play my games off of the hard drive. So I do like that Microsoft did that. You don't have to format it for the specific Xbox. It's not tied only to this Xbox. You know, the hard drive can be used on any Xbox platform that's an Xbox One, One S, One X, Series X, Series S. That's a great feature I really love having, and I'm glad that I discovered that. It was really cool. I was like, man, I thought I was gonna have to buy another external hard drive just for my Series X, which I do plan to buy another one anyway, so I can back up and save more games, because I'm almost, had filled up the hard drive. But I do love that ability of being able to take my hard drive between my two consoles, because there are some games on Xbox One X that the saves won't transfer over completely, so I don't want to have to lose some of my progress. It's just a limitation with upgrading generations. So I still want to always have that console available to play, but it is nice that I can swap my hard drives between the two. But I wanted to show you guys some gameplay quick of like an Xbox One game. Let's check out Star Wars, the Republic Commando, and show you guys what it looks like on the Xbox Series X. I also love the load times. Like, holy shit, the load times for games on this Series X are like night and day with the Xbox One X. Like, one big example was Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus on my Xbox One X took like 2 or 3 minutes to load, and on here it loads in like 30 seconds. It's crazy how quickly these new hard drives load games. My name, which is cool because it also got my save file from online, but we'll just let me see if haven't played since 2022. There's my autosave, so we'll check it out. But look how fast it loads. The original Xbox would have taken a while to load it. Look at the freaking graphics. This is an old original Xbox game upscaled on the Series X. Just look at it in 4K. Did not look this beautiful on the original Xbox. Even with the component cables, it did not look this beautiful. But look at this original Xbox game playing on the Series X. I mean, you could almost say that it is a almost looks like it's an Xbox 360 game. Just look at the detail on the characters and the lighting and stuff, so it's really cool. I love this upgrade that they gave to these games that became backwards compatible. It's just really awesome, because when I played this on the original Xbox before I had component cables and stuff, the game kind of looked washed out and were pretty like basic looking graphics, but look at what the Series X power does to these old games. It's like practically like a brand new game. Look at that. It's just awesome. I love playing old original Xbox games on this Series X. Such an awesome feature to have. So we can take that off. We'll go home. So there's an Xbox original game. And even the Xbox Series games get upgrades, which I'll show you guys which one would really take. Like it would really show the graphics off. I guess I could just use Alan Wake. American Nightmare. Which, if you guys don't have this game, I highly recommend it. It was on sale. Currently it's $10. But if you wait, Microsoft always has sales on it. I highly recommend this game if you're a big fan of Alan Wake. It's awesome. And I'll show you guys a little play of the arcade mode, where it's like a horde mode, where you get to play as Alan and try to survive for, I think it's like 10 minutes or something. So let's check it out. So even your Xbox 360 games get a performance boost and a graphical boost as well on the Series X. They've never looked better than on this console.
Brings salvation.
And you try to survive for 10 minutes, but just look at the environment, the details on it. Like, some of these 360 games could almost pass as, like, early Xbox One games. Like, they really do get upscaled, the performance on them, everything gets improved. And it's something I really, really do love, is this backwards compatibility and how it makes your games look so amazing. So I just wanted to give you guys a little taste of a 360 game looks like on the Series X. Looks amazing. And then let me show you Elden Ring, like how quickly, look how quickly it loads. So it's checking, connecting to the internet, because this is obviously a game that's tied online. You can play co-op, and you can also fight other people. But just look how fast this thing loads. Like, boom, I'm already in the game. I mean, it's just crazy how lightning fast and quick this console is with loading games. If I was playing this on the Xbox One X, that would have taken, like, anywhere from 1 to, like, 4 minutes to load. Like some of these large games like Elden Ring and stuff that are massive in scale and, they're graphically demanding, you can't just get right into a game. You have to load it up. Like, I talked about that Metro Exodus game. That would take me like 2 and 3, 4, 5 minutes sometimes to get the thing to load. And on this, I'd have it loaded in like 30 seconds. So I love the speed you get on these new 9th gen consoles. They're just absolute powerhouses when it comes to loading. And look at the detail and the graphics here in 4K. Just amazing and beautiful. The draw distance, you can see objects and creatures so far away, which you would not be able to see on like older consoles. Even the Xbox One X would struggle with this 4K. And if you had the big TV, obviously you could do 120 frames a second. So there's different performance modes and different modes you can do where, like, you can get it to perform better, but you'll cut down on the graphics, or you can have the game do like only 60 frames but have the best graphics out there, or maybe sometimes I know some of them might be down to 30. But some of the developers really took advantage of the console's full potential. I mean, this looks realistic. Look at the fire. Like, I've never seen fire look so good in console gaming. Obviously, PCs are way gonna destroy consoles, But you're gonna have to spend, you're gonna have to get your $5,000 and $6,000 and $8,000 games. I'll show you guys just a little bit of combat here. Just amazing, the graphics here. And this is one of those big troll dudes. You have to watch out for. And you can see, like, look, the game doesn't even, it's not even struggling with all, like, the movement and stuff that you get. Oh, man, he's going crazy. Let's see if we can get him to... Like, usually when you have a lot of movement like that, games and stuff will struggle with the movement. Sometimes you would see the slowdown and stuff. So far, I have not encountered any slowdown on any of the games that I have played. And just, again, just how beautiful those damn visuals are, the music. Just love how some developers are able to take full advantage of the powerhouse that is the Xbox Series X console, which I just absolutely love this console. It is great. And you can tweak the settings and stuff too in the menu. My brother actually helped me to fully utilize my 4K TV and the Ultra HDR and everything. We went through and we had to calibrate it, and sometimes you have to actually calibrate specific games for what you want based on your own personal taste and the features of your own TV. But I just want to show you guys a little example of the different generations of games that you can play on the console. But you guys can see like 37 hours in it. Awesome game. And then it loads right back to the menu. You can pop out and instantly just switch to another game. So I really do love this console. I did not think that I was going to enjoy this Xbox Series X console as much as I actually do. And it's because of all of the features that it has, the 4K gaming, and a big selling point for me was the backwards compatibility. Where for me, like, I'm really not as excited for the PlayStation 5. I do want to get it for its exclusives, but again, there's still not enough exclusive PlayStation 5 titles out there for me that would justify me going out and paying for the PlayStation 5 in full price. I actually plan to sell some more stuff from my collection, the stuff I don't want, and then use that money to actually pay for it. But if I had to choose between only having one 9th gen console, I would choose the Xbox Series X over the PlayStation 5 simply for the fact that I have access to play some of my old original Xbox, a bunch of my Xbox 360 games, and all of my Xbox One games. And I'm able to take full potential of those games on the Series X. You know, it upgrades the graphics. You guys saw how Star Wars Republic Commando looked in 4K. The Xbox 360, Alan Wake's American Nightmare looked. Amazing how these old games get upgraded by playing on a new powerhouse console. And then you guys saw how beautiful Elden Ring looked. It just looks so amazing in 4K, and they really took advantage of the console's potentials. I can only imagine what 10th gen consoles could be like in the future. Now, of course, I know they're not going to be as good as PC, and you always have those PC elitist people, but with PCs, you know, you're constantly upgrading. You got to spend, you know, $4,000 and $5,000 to get a really good gaming PC, you know, top of the line, $1,500 graphics cards and stuff, and keep upgrading all the time. You know, where a console is like, you know, this one's going to last me for a long time, and the games just look absolutely beautiful. So I do prefer the Xbox Series X over the PlayStation 5. One of the biggest selling points for me is simply having backwards compatibility. You also have access to Game Pass for those people who love it, which I'm not a fan of it, so I don't own it, but I can see the appeal of it. I know my buddy Todd, my brother, several friends have Game Pass, and they get access to hundreds of games for one low price every month because they're not collectors like myself, so they don't care. They don't have to own the game. They just want to have fun and play them, and they can jump around And with the Game Pass, they have access to tons of games, and they don't have to actually buy any of them. They have access to them through the Game Pass. So that's another great feature that this console has. I also love, too, that this does, as well as Xbox One X, you can play 4K Blu-rays. This is a 4K Blu-ray player, which I do have a couple 4K Blu-rays now. And man, do those movies look amazing in 4K. Even, I thought Blu-ray movies looked amazing compared to DVD. But 4K Blu-rays absolutely blow them out the water. It's just absolutely stunning, the visuals you can get. So that's another positive thing, is I love being able to play my 4K Blu-rays. And so I do want to get some for special movies like Terminator, the Aliens, I'm not going to replace my whole DVD or Blu-ray collection with 4K. But there are some specific few movies that I absolutely love that I would love to have the 4K Blu-rays for. So it also does play 4K Blu-rays. Another thing I like too is that because I have Xbox Live Gold, I'm able to have all my saves backed up. Even if you have the free version, don't have Gold or Ultimate Game Pass or whatever, you can still back up your saves digitally, and it'll access them from the cloud, so you have access to your games. So I could actually play at my buddy's house, and then I could come home, come here, put the game in, and it'll download my saves from the cloud that it uploaded to, and then I can resume my game here. So I do love that feature with the cloud. Now, of course, it is tied to having the internet, but it is a nice feature that I like, that they back up your saves through the cloud. So if somehow it gets deleted off your console, you can get that backup copy that you have in the cloud. Now, Microsoft has that for free. However, Sony, you have to have their PlayStation Plus service, or they won't back up your save files. So kind of a drawback. I know Nintendo has a similar problem, but at least their internet thing is only $20 a year versus the 60, whatever that this one is, for Xbox and PlayStation 5. But that's another thing that I love about the console as well. I love the different things you can do. The speed of the console just loads and works so well. They definitely did an amazing job with 9th Gen. And definitely, let me tell you, if you're looking for someone to recommend getting an Xbox Series X, I would highly recommend it. If you love playing backwards compatible games, your games will never play your games as good as you can on the Xbox Series X. If you don't have the Xbox Series X, you're not going to be able to play original Xbox games the way you can on here. On the old machine, even modded with the HDMI and stuff, you're still not going to get the quality and performance you do get on the Xbox Series X. Of course, not every game is compatible with the original Xbox, but the ones that are, and the ones that they specifically tweaked and updated, they do look amazing. That Star Wars Republic Commando looked awesome. So I am loving the console. It's I feel like when I got a console at launch again, it's just so amazing with the games that are coming out now. I had made a video back 3 years ago in 2020 how I wasn't that excited for 9th Gen, and at the time they really didn't have any good exclusives coming out, but we've got Alan Wake 2 coming out. There's going to be a Silent Hill 2 remake. There's that new Dead Space remake that just came out last month. The Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Destroy All Humans 2. We're starting to finally get some games that are exclusive to 9th Gen, because the only way for us to fully get the potential of this 9th Gen console is to take 8th Gen and just shelve it. Because if we keep making versions for both consoles, it's going to hold it back. You're not going to get true next-gen experiences until we leave 8th Gen behind. And unfortunately, Microsoft is going to have to do it. Same with Sony. If they want to get the full potential of these consoles, we need to leave 8th Gen behind and focus exclusively on 9th Gen. I would love to see a Pro version or an even better version of the Xbox Series X down the road. That'd be really cool if they can release an even better version of these consoles in the future. Especially now that the consoles are starting to get more in supply. That was another big issue I know people had, is trying to track them down, with the shortage and stuff. But finally, the shortages are starting to ease. And I've actually seen a few of these at my GameStop and some of my local game stores and Best Buy and Walmart. I'm actually starting to see PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X and S consoles now that you can buy for retail and don't have to pay scalper prices. But I would definitely recommend the Xbox Series X. I would recommend it over the PlayStation 5, just for the simple fact that you have 4 generations of Xbox you can play on the Xbox Series X, where PlayStation 5 can only play PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games. They can't play PlayStation 1, 2, or 3. Sadly, maybe they'll update that and add that in the future. I know you can buy some digital ones, but it doesn't have the backwards compatibility that the Xbox Series X has. So overall, I love this Xbox Series X console. Now, there are some stuff I don't like, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. Alright, and now I'd like to talk about some of the issues and limitations that I have with my Xbox Series X console. Now, this console definitely is heavily tied to needing the internet. For you to get the full potential out of your console, you must be connected to the internet, which I completely understand with 9th gen consoles, even 8th gen, my Xbox One consoles, my Xbox One X, my PlayStation 4s, those are also heavily tied to the internet in order to get the full potential of these consoles. And it's just an unfortunate side effect of our always connected world that we have these days. You can't even start this console up without connecting to the internet at least once at the beginning to download those necessary install files and drivers and stuff in order to start playing games. You have to connect to the internet at least once and get your profile set up and everything. So it can't be played right out of the box like old consoles can. And it is what it is. I understand with the newer consoles, this is just how they are. They're kind of like PCs and stuff, but they are very tied to having the internet in order to fully realize their potential and being able to play games. Which I'm going to share with you guys here in a moment, some issues that I had playing this system offline. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, we always have internet, so it's not a big deal. I don't care. I've always got my internet to play. Well, there are times where you might not have access to your internet and you might want to play a game. I have had several buddies, and it's happened to me before, where you'll have a random internet outage, and it could be just a few minutes, anywhere to a few hours, or maybe even a few days. Something happens, we're doing maintenance. I apologize, there's a credit on your account, but the internet's going to be down for 2 days. So now you have no access to the internet for 2 days. Or maybe you're like me, sometimes you take a trip. Like I like to go on trips with my family and take my wife and son. And sometimes we go someplace and the hotel maybe doesn't have access to internet. Or we go somewhere where there is no internet available. And so I want to have my console just so I could watch movies or play games. And there's some issues I ran into with trying to play some games. Specifically, the digital games that I purchased. So remember, I bought these games. They weren't just, given to me for free, which you did also get some free from having Xbox Live Gold. So I understand that, like, the Xbox One and Series games they gave you for free, you have to be online to play. But the Xbox 360 games that you purchase yourself, you should be able to play regardless of whether you're online or not. And look what happens when I try to play Alan Wake's American Nightmare that I did purchase on this Xbox Series X console in the month of January. It says, for this game, you need to be online. Use this Xbox regularly? Make it your home Xbox so you can play games you own, even offline. Next time you're online, go to Settings, General Personalization, and turn on to My Home Xbox. So you also got to make sure that you take the time to set this as your home Xbox, which I completely forgot about doing that. So because I'm not online, I bought that game, but I can't have access to it, which I think is total horse shit, but it is what it is. Now, if I go to try some of the other games that I bought, like the Castlevania games, to continue, reconnect to Xbox. Test your connection. Press the Xbox button on your controller, then go to Settings, General, Network Settings, Test Network Connection. So again, another one that I can't play because I'm not on the internet. Dead Space, same thing. Now I know people will say, oh, well, you can set this as your home Xbox and then you can play it offline. Which, yes, you can do. But it's still a limitation that I think is bullshit. That again, Microsoft and Sony and these companies get to dictate when you have access to your physical games or digital games. They want to have control over when you can access your content. Specifically, the digital games. Now, I popped in the disc for Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway. Now, obviously, we all know that when you plug in an Xbox 360 disc or an original Xbox disc, you're not actually installing the game off the disc. You're connecting to the internet to download the digital version of it. However, the difference is, and why I like having my physical copies, even for Xbox One and Xbox Series games, is the disc acts as the DRM check for you to access the game and play it. You know, the key is on that disc. As long as it's in the drive, you can play it even offline. So watch, I can load up Brothers in Arms, no issues, because I don't have to connect to the internet because I have that physical disc sitting in the drive, which acts as the internet check. So those digital games that I bought, if this isn't my home Xbox and I'm not online, I don't get to have access to them. But if I have that physical disc in the drive, now I can play it offline. So there's another reason why I prefer my physical games. I know a lot of people say, you know, like, oh, the physical copies are pretty much useless for Xbox One and Xbox Series because the games aren't really on there. Sometimes they're not fully on there. However, just having that physical disc in the drive allows you to actually play your games. Look, I can just jump right into Brothers in Arms now, even though I had to download a digital version of it. That disc is in the drive and allows me to play it offline. So another reason why I keep my digital games, like I like having my physical, because of that reason. You know, having that physical copy in my drive allows me to access that game. Now give me a second here and I'll pop in an Xbox One game to test if that works offline. Alright, now I popped in Elden Ring, and let's see if it loads. And as you can see, since I have my physical copy of Elden Ring in the disc tray, I can still play it. Now, obviously, this game has online functions that I can't access because I'm not online, but at least I can still play it. So that definitely shows you why I prefer to buy my physical copy games, because at least with that disc in the drive, I can still play my physical games offline. Now, my digital ones, I have to be connected to online to even have access to play them. You know, I spent my hard-earned money on them, yet Microsoft tells me when and when I can't play them, and they can turn off that access at any time, as it is in the fine print, that you technically don't own this game. You have a license to play it that they can revoke at any time they want. So if they just decide for whatever reason no one's going to ever be allowed to play this game again, they can take your access away to your digital copies. And it has happened to people on other platforms, movies and stuff, music online and stuff. So I don't like companies having that access over my content. But I do love that at least I can play these games offline with my physical disc in there. I just obviously can't access the online functions of it. But there are some limitations that you do have without the internet. Now I understand too that, like, when I first did put the disc in there, you know, that we do all need those necessary day one patches, because these discs are pressed sometimes a couple months before release date, a month before, so they can actually ship them out. But they're actually still working on the games at times, polishing them, fixing bugs and stuff. And then also after launch, especially for these really large games, you know, people encounter a lot of bugs and stuff, and they have to go back and fix it sometimes with multiple patches. So I understand, you know, you need the internet to get your games fully updated, and that doesn't really bother me, because I mean, it is what it is this day and age. I mean, it's just nice that at least, you know, we have a way for them to fix our games, where in the past, when you bought a physical game, if it was broken on the disc or the cartridge, it was broken on the disc or cartridge, and sometimes they would release a revision, and sometimes you could send your game in and get another one, but you were pretty much stuck with the game is what the game is, where at least in this day and age, they can update them. They started, you know, with that Xbox 360 and stuff, but my only real gripe is not being able to play digital games that I paid money for offline, because this isn't set as my home Xbox. And then someone else brought up a good point too, I don't know if anyone's ever tested it, is someone said, you know, how long does it actually work offline before it needs to be reconnected you can play? Because some people said somewhere 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I've seen online people said that, like, you can set it for your home Xbox, but after 90 days, if you don't reconnect your internet, you can't play those games anymore, because it has to reconnect and it has to do another check on there to make sure that you can play those games. I'm not sure how true that is, or if they've changed some stuff. I know they have updated some policies recently as some people experienced issues when there was Microsoft's Xbox Live service was down, which has happened before as well. So it just really shows you there are limitations to these new 9th gen consoles. Another issue that I have with the console is the space limitations. So total all my storage, I have 460 gigs because I have like 200 some games, but let's go to my storage devices. So internally, you know, these consoles only have a terabyte of hard drive space, and you can only use 802 gigabytes. So almost 200 gigs is literally the operating system and stuff you can't access. That's how it always is with hard drives. You never get the full experience. My thing is look at this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and I'm almost completely filled up with the Xbox Series X. So the Xbox Series X specific games can only run on the internal hard drive or the very expensive hard drive cards that you can buy that plug into the back that add more space. They should have put at least 5 terabyte hard drives in these consoles. I know they wanted to save money because this new technology is expensive, but the consoles are really limited with not having larger hard drives because some of these games are just massive. Like, look at Cyberpunk 2077 here. This thing is 63 gigs for that game. It's like 20 gigs more than on the Xbox One version because of the updated graphics and stuff. Let's see how much Elden Ring is. 50 gigs. The Master Chief Collection with all its updates and all the games is 120 gigs. Now, I've heard that some of the Call of Duty games are close to 200 gigs with all the map packs and everything. It's just, you know, these games, as we are moving along, getting further into 9th gen, they're going to be getting larger and larger. And unfortunately, you're going to have to start uninstalling games in order to play others, which really sucks. Now, you can have an external hard drive hooked up like I do, which I can show you guys the contents on that drive. However, you can only play original Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One games off of this hard drive. Anything that has that X and S, that's the Xbox Series version of the game, you must have it on the internal hard drive, or you can't run it. Has to do with the kind of hard drive it is, that the games can't load fast enough without the internal hard drive and the new ones, so those external ones that you have don't work. But at least, you know, you can still play your older games on the external hard drive, which I do save Xbox Series X specific versions for the internal hard drive only, and everything else that I can play on the console, the other 3 generations, I leave on this external hard drive, so I can still access them and still have access to all 200 some of my games. But that's another limitation, though, is the hard drive size and being stuck with only being able to use the hard drive. Now, you can expand it by buying those little network cards or HD cards, whatever the hard drive card thingies they call it, plug into the back of your console. They're pretty expensive. But those you can actually install more games on. But it just sucks that they didn't give us more space for games, especially with how large they are getting. Like 1 terabyte is just not enough for these modern consoles. Like 5 terabytes is what it should be with how many games there are. So if you want to constantly be installing games, you can do that. Now, there is a trick you can do. A couple buddies told me, you know, that if you're not playing a game, you can technically transfer the Xbox Series X version over to your external hard drive. But if you want to play it, then you got to switch it back and forth. So you have to swap back and forth between the hard drives if you want to do management of your data and stuff that way. So there's another limitation. You also can't access your achievements. Now, like an Xbox 360, the Xbox One is the same as this. You can't check what your achievements are. You can't. You can earn achievements offline, but it doesn't tell you about them, and it won't update till you connect to the internet. So that's another little gripe and issue that I have. But, you know, there's just some of the limitations that I personally have experienced with the console. And I remember how I was reading so many comments and stuff when people were talking about, oh, you can 100% play the console offline. There's no issues at all. You have nothing. Like, bull fucking shit. There's no issues. Look at me. Games I physically bought on this console won't let me play it because I forgot to set it as my home Xbox. But if I do have the disc, at least I can still play it. So there are limitations, but I just thought it was funny how people were trying to say, oh, there's never an issue with playing offline. You can play any game you want offline. Well, obviously that's not true, and I just showed you guys that is some of the issues. So it's just some minor gripes, but it's definitely an issue I can see down the future, because eventually, this console won't be online forever. So I'm hoping that maybe one day Microsoft will release a patch for the console or something when it does fully go offline that'll give you 100% access to all your content playing offline. But it's not like the consoles are going to go offline anytime soon, but these are just some of the minor gripes that I had with the console. Obviously, the positives way outweigh the negatives, but there is a few negatives I just wanted to share with the console and issues that I personally had with this 9th gen console. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but there are some stuff I don't love about it. Alright friends, so I just wanted to share some of the positive stuff that I love about the console, and there was some of the negative stuff. Overall, it is an amazing console, and I'm so thankful and glad to finally have a 9th gen console. There's so many new games that are going to be coming out for it that I can't wait to play, like Alan Wake 2, Destroy All Humans 2, that Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, the Dead Space remake. There's so many wonderful exclusives that'll be coming out in the next several years that I can't wait to play. I love how the backwards compatibility on the console. I can play my old original Xbox games. You guys saw how amazing those games looked. You can play your Xbox 360 and Xbox One. So you have 4 generations of games that you can play on the console. You get the upgraded performance modes and you get the upgraded visuals and stuff. Really awesome console. And then we talked about some of the limitations that that is really tied to being online, and unfortunately if you don't have it set at your home Xbox, you can't play your digital games that you bought. You guys saw I tried to launch different titles and it said sorry, you need to connect to the internet to use it. However, if you do have a physical game in the tray, you can then play it, whether it's a original Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, or Series game. As long as you have the disc in the physical tray, you can then actually play it offline. So that's another reason why I like to buy my physical games, is at least with it has, it's a key, but at least it lets you do that check for you without having to be online. So that's another reason why I like to have my physical games, because I can still play them offline. So there are some limitations with the consoles needing internet, but it is with the day and age, everything is all connected now. This isn't, 20 years ago. We are here in 2023, and it's just how it is. You just have to accept it. There's also some limitations with the hard drive space. The hard drives are definitely way too small for the consoles, as the games just keep getting larger and larger. And you also have the limitations that the specific Xbox Series X games, not the Xbox One or 360 or original games, but the Series X games can only be played off its internal hard drive or those little memory cards that you can buy that plug in the back. However, the memory cards are pretty expensive. Eventually, they will go down in price. So there's some limitation stuff, but I just wanted to give you guys my overall thoughts and stuff on my 9th gen console, the Xbox Series X. I love having the console. I definitely think it's worth it. If you're on the fence about it like I was, I definitely would say it is worth the upgrade, especially if you like the old games, because you have the backwards compatibility and you get so many great features with it. Just know though that you do need to have internet, and you want to make sure that you have the proper router and you have the proper speed internet. You might want to upgrade your internet if it's kind of slow, if you're able to, so you can take full advantage of the Xbox's power. Like, it does need a really good internet, so it might be worth it for you just to pay and upgrade your internet to a better plan, because I have a pretty decent plan. And with my new router that I got, which you guys will see in my birthday pickups video, my internet has just absolutely exploded in speeds, and I'm able to fully take advantage of the full potential of my Xbox Series X. But those are my thoughts on this console. Let me know your guys' thoughts if you own the console, or if you've owned it for a while. Maybe there's some stuff you liked about it, maybe there's some stuff you didn't like about it. Feel free to leave a comment responding to this, or you can film a video response. I just ask, if you do film a video response, please let me know about it so I can check it out, and I will also post a link to your video response as a comment so other people can check it out as well. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see ya next time.